Then, thank you. So just sharing my screen shortly. So a disclaimer, though the recording has already gone on, today I've tried to break a record and work from home, so any noise in the background, I will try to minimize somehow. Okay. Yeah, the question has always been, how can we do an extensive analysis through that Google Sheets? Before we start off, all spreadsheets are not meant to do end-to-end data analysis. This one has to be clear. It has to be even in black and white. Yes, you can create dashboards in Excel. You can create dashboards in Google Sheets, but that's not their main purpose, because we have visualization tools that are connected or that can easily connect to these two tools. Excel, we saw last time that Power BI is a product that it connects to directly because it's the same company. Then with Google Sheets, we have an application called Looker Studio. I have to introduce it such that you know that it exists. Looker Studio is, its name was Google Data Studio. It is directly connected to Google Sheets because it is a product of Google. Yes, you may not always find it here in the products here. You may not find it here in the products, but you can always use it and connect directly your data to. Whichever report you have, you can easily visualize it in a report that looks fancy, I can say. So I will open it briefly because you have to know it. Going forward, start switching your mind to using more of the Looker Studio than Google Sheets. Google Sheets is just there to do the ETL, extract, you transform, and you load your data ready for visualizing. If you're running a simple report, go ahead and run it through Google Sheets. But if a report is extensive, high level, you can always invest in learning Looker Data Studio. So Looker Studio, which is Google Data Studio. So I'm going to open it here. We just have a look at it. Then we shall directly switch to our daily. So I'm going to use like 5 minutes to do this. I know some of you who you should have ever seen me using this report actually many times, and Susan maybe will share with you how the reports look like. So you see a report like this. This report is directly connecting to a Google Sheet. I'm not saying today we are going to do something like this, but it's directly connected to a Google Sheet. And every day, what you request or what you inquire to do is just updating a Google Sheet to the other side. Here, your data will be updating automatically. Or you can always, if you have just updated, you can always come here and refresh data, and it will refresh data accordingly. You will always have a capability of putting all the filters like date filters, all the parameters you have in your reports. I will share on the WhatsApp group some videos I have ever done to do actually this exact report. And I will share with you a link of this report such that you can start learning it. Going forward, you may find yourself having more. This one is simple. It is not like Power BI. I'm not saying Power BI is hard, but this one is more simple because it is just a drag and drop. It is a drag from here, a drag from these charts. It is just a drag and drop. You just come here, pick a chart. Maybe I can show you on another page. So if I go to page, if I create another page here. So it is just a drag and drop. Let's say if I need a chart, I just drag a chart like this, drop it here, then pick the data it is supposed to speak to. How do you pick the data? Just from directly your report you have connected to it. If it is a Google Sheet, then you'll go ahead and easily do it. And it can also create, you see, like such dynamic reports. A report just keeps revolving like that, showing you who is higher, who is low at a given time as it is counting here that date. There are many things you can learn. Let's not squeeze our minds on some things like Google Sheets. I know all of us, we need to create reports in Google Sheets, but Google Sheets are just meant, spreadsheets in other words, they are meant for simple reports. If you're going to have a report like this and it is a recurring report, let's say someone at the Weighbridge has created a report where all of you will be dumping your data, and after every shift, people don't have, you just need to have to take a screenshot of what you have done in a day, because everything will have updated automatically. When they say you please add another chart, this chart is not picking the details very well. It is just a matter of going to your charts and you change. Just very simple like that. You change the chart. So guys, that's just a preamble that there is a tool that exists that you need to know. Only that this
another
was,
name for the data studio.
it is called Looker Studio. Actually, you see the name was changed. You see the name that is in the address bar. Yeah, that is Looker Studio. I can post it for you guys here, then you can go ahead. But don't open it now because we are going in now a marathon of something else. But just bookmark it somewhere. I will give you some videos, watch, try it out. It is something good to deal with. Then Power BI is also extensively on its own, but this one is also a good starting if you are using Google Sheets. Actually, like now we are using Google Sheets, it is a buy-in, because just put your data in Google Sheets. Don't even bother yourself what is a pivot table, which formula should I use. Just bring your data this side, visualize your data from this side. At the end of the day, you'll just have a simple report you're sharing either on a daily. If it is a one-off, then you also do a one-off. But since you're working online, you can just create something that will be used on a daily basis. I think that is enough intro I've given to Looker Studio. It is called actually Looker Studio. They dropped the name of Google Data Studio. Okay, that is all. Even I'm closing this tab such that we don't give it any attention. Now, here we are. Today I'm going to, I realized yesterday that people can't ask questions because they didn't know what to ask. Yes. But calling upon everyone that please just transfer the knowledge we had in Excel for the last 1 month. 98%, that knowledge you're going to use it in Google Sheets. Copy and paste. It is only a few things where this one looks different from the other, but most of the things are the same. Yes, you will say the toolbar is not the same here. The tabs are not the same, but you'll find that always the functions that are there, these are the same functions we had in Excel. Only that someone will ask himself, where do I find them? That's now the question I need to communicate to you. Okay. Today I want to focus first on data validation. We have something where you will always create a sheet, and you'll want people to always insert data in that sheet, but you don't want them to put different spellings. So I'm going to pick a sample data. I'm going to first focus on data validation. So I'll pick a sample data here, as we have always done. Actually, I will take sample as in sample. So the first thing I can see, just copy paste here. So let's customize that. Now, Let's take an example that on a daily, you're tasking your team to input a date, to input a track, maybe to input quantity. I'm just thinking out loud. Then to input a transporter, which we call a commercial carrier, like this. Then you're tasking them to input a material, which others may call an item. Then what else? We task them to put a customer, which we shall call a sold to. So I think we can go with this, just having the knowledge. Okay. Now, we have a report like this, a sheet like this, which your team is filling. And this is going to be a good habit to carry on when you are having a report like I've just shown you, a Google Data Studio report, where the team are supposed to enter data here. Like yesterday, Gloria was talking about how do we do reports anymore? How are we going to share screenshots? Are we going to share the full sheet? Now here the question comes. What do you report as a Weighbridge every after a shift? How many deliveries you have received, how many drivers you have signed off, have everything, put it in one spreadsheet. And you rename that this is a handover report, or this is a shift report, such that everyone, when he's leaving a shift, he puts his own data. Either it is one row or either he fills 4 rows, you know better. Then you can connect that sheet to a Looker Studio report, which everyone, you don't even need to report anything. You just update, guys, I have updated the report. Everyone goes to a Looker Studio report, bookmarked on their computers, click on it, it will open and they will look at the reports the way how they want to visualize them. So, but before you go that further, there is something we call data validation. Validating data is in the column of date. I want everyone to put a date in that column. But you'll find one day, someone will put 2023. Today is a July dash and 50th. Another one tomorrow is going to put 50th slash 07 slash 2023. Those are 2 different people. Another one is going to bring now this 05 dash July dash 2023. Another one will act stubborn and just put 05 slash 07 because he knows, everyone knows this year is 2023. Maybe the sheet is already showing this is 2023. Now, these 4 people have entered data, but this data at some point it is different. Let's try to double click. When you double click here, it gives you a calendar, 5th July. When you double click here, it gives you a calendar, 7th of May, already a skewed number. When you double click here, obviously this is 5th of July. When you double click here, it gives you 7th of May. It means that in the report you run, you'll never pick the data for this person this month because his data is showing 7th of May. So how do we do that? Such that I tell them that, you know what, in the column of date, you'll always double click and pick the calendar, pick the date from the calendar. So that's what we call data validation. Then also, if we have a number or we know the track numbers, or maybe here I can say staff on shift, staff on shift, maybe that. Now, another day someone will come and put Baluku. Then the other day, this same person will come and put Eric. Another day, someone will come and put Kalongo. The other day, this person will come and put Wilson. Now, when you are visualizing this report and you're reporting on performance, you'll have Kalongo and Wilson, different people. It means that you didn't validate your data. People put what they wanted. Then at some day, Kalongo will be tired and Wilson will be tired and put Wilson K. This is the third person, different. But ideally, all this data is for one person. That is data validation. Then here, someone will come and put 30 tons. Another person will come and put 30 tons, but maybe because he's playing and testing out how Google Sheet works, and he puts like a percentage. It runs as a percentage. You remember in percentage, this is 0.3. 30. Yes?
A quick one, eh?
Mm.
Like for WebBridge, the report has a format, yeah?
Mm.
So for purposes of learning, can we have a format of the WebBridge report, for example, and see how we can operate in what we are talking about? Because it's quite different from what we are presenting.
No,
We
I'm
have
just
all the
presenting.
training and stuff like that.
I'm just presenting the principles on how we are going to do this. So in case I want you now to try out these principles with that report, then you can always come back on any platform and tell us, guys, is this format okay? This is what we have done. Can you rate? Did we do better? So that's what I need. Because the moment we focus on that report, there is someone in procurement who will get lost because his mind will switch off because that should be Susan. Yes, Susan. Shumi has unmute unknowingly, but that's what I was talking about. So now I want to show you how we do data validation, because that was my focus. Susan, you're saying something?
It was someone else who was unmute. Mute them.
You'll always come to your sheet. So that we don't spoil the recording. So let's start with date. I'm going to select date, the whole of date, the date column. So you can select up to the bottom, and we call this, it is you click on the first cell, Control Shift downwards. That one we talked about it. But since I want to first look this, I will drag, I showed you this, such that when I scroll, my headers remain intact. Now we want to put a validation in this column first. You'll always come to data, you come to data validation. I know some of you should have used it. So the moment you click on data validation, at the right, on your right, there is a sidebar that will open. Then you add a rule, because we are adding rules to our sheet. So I will add a rule. Then the moment you add a rule, obviously it will pick a default of a certain rule. So I'll say this rule I'm adding, what is the criteria? The criteria I want, this should be a valid date. You see, is valid date. If you want a date, if you want them to enter dates that are before a certain date, you try out these, try them out. If you want them to enter a date that is between a certain date, like they can't enter a date in next month, then all those options are there. For now, we are saying is a valid date. So the moment I say is a valid date, then here they say, they give me an advanced option. Let's go there. This is the advanced option. So show help desk. If you want to put for them a pop-up, like to show them that do this, I will show the help text. Then I tell them double click to pick date from calendar, like this. Then if the data is invalid, if they are entering data is invalid, what should we do? Should we just give them a warning and we accept the data that is invalid? Me, I don't use that option. I always use this, reject the input. So the moment I do done, that is the first rule we have in this sheet. So if we come on date, the moment I double click on any row, even if I go at the end, the moment I double click, it will just give me a calendar and I will automatically pick what is in the calendar. So I will scroll until I reach the date, which is this. So here you can easily now format this in any format you need. We did that yesterday. So You can give the whole column that even if they double click, I will always need my dates in that format, and it will always come in that format. So you can select the whole of this, come on the format, and change the format. But in real sense, we have already input a validation. Now, if this person tries to enter 05/07 and enter, it will automatically sense what is supposed to be done. It is adding the 2023 because it is the current year. Let me try to enter the name, Sabiti. So the moment I enter something that is not related to a date, it is going to tell me there was a problem. Double click to pick date from calendar. So I will go ahead and just a moment, guys. Thank you. So that is already validation we have put, which means even if we get someone else from wherever, if he tries to put here him, it will tell him you have done wrong. Just double click to pick that date, and it will reject what he has input. Not until that person double clicks, he picks that date, and the date will appear that way. So the format you gave the dates, that's how they will appear. If you gave it a long date, it will appear as a long date. So that is the first rule. So which means we have already validated column A. Now let's look at another validation. We want staff on shift. Now, staff on shift, when I'm working always on a sheet, I always have a sheet called working sheet. So just pick the norm as how we said last time in Excel, that always have a working sheet where you put your workings. Sorry. Do we have already a working sheet? I think we have. Let me make it 2. Now, if I have staff, I will come and first put the staff this side. I'm going to be quick. If I don't put your name, please, we shall compensate. Then let me put a few people here. Then there's Nicholas. Then no, we can go with those. Now, you can go ahead and format your working sheet such that it looks smart. Now, when I come to the validation, I want to make sure that these people, they will always pick the name directly from the sheet without typing it. So you can even start with the first one. You can even do one row. Then we shall copy the validation up to the end. So come here on the first cell, go to data, validation. Then it is already still open here. If it is not open, that is the procedure. You say add another rule. Now adding another rule, it first gives me a drop down. But at the moment, I don't want a drop down. But if you already need a drop down and you don't have a working sheet, you can input the names directly from here. Like this, Laban, then you go on the next, Susan, then you add another one, submit like this. So when you say done, it means that here they will always come to pick names directly. They will not be able to type their names default here, which were not put in the validation. But I don't need this kind of validation. So I will go to the rule and delete that rule. This is the rule. I will delete it. So what I need, I want a validation that is picking from a range. There is a reason why we always do validations picking from a range. They are easy to update. So I will go pick from a range, and I will come here. It will ask me to select my data range. I'll go to that range and pick the whole of this up to B7. If I want, even I can put other blank rows such that in future, I can easily add, but let's first go with this. The moment I say, okay, here they are. You see they drop automatically, but remember they are picking directly from the other side. If I change here, it automatically also updates the other side. Now I will come here and add the rule, but remember to go on the advanced options to put for them a help tab in case they do wrong, or you go ahead and reject the input. Now display, I always need to use the arrows. I don't always to use the chips. I don't always like using the chips for all validations. I'll give you a reason why. So when I do done, we have now two. When we come here, so we shall have now this where we pick directly the name. So if you want to run this at the bottom, you can either drag it like this, or you can copy this, then select the whole of this up to the bottom, come on paste special, and you paste special validation only. I know you people, you should have ever seen this validation only, but you wonder what is it. So you say paste validation only, and it will paste all the validations up to the bottom, which means even I come here, I can select my names. So I can go ahead and edit this either from the range, or editing. Now you see, since they are picking directly from the range, you can't edit them from here. So that is one thing we can do now. I want to check if I adjust and name the other side, does it adjust automatically? Let's do it. So on Kalongo, I'm adding this as a full name, Kalongo, like this. So when I go this side and I select, I will find it has updated automatically. So that is the beauty when you're doing validations from a working sheet. So, which means there is no one who will ever come and put Sabiti and it accepts. It will tell him that the data you entered in the cell this violates the data validation rules set on this cell. It is automatically a knockout and it will not accept it. So that person, you can always give them a hint here. Please select from the option given. So if we change this range and say, let this range run up to around 12, because we need to have some space in future, apply to all. So if we add something here, like we add another name, let's say Nathan M, and we go to our validation here, we shall find Nathan Mwanja has added himself. So when you leave a blank space, when you stretch it up to the end, this is it. This is the validation, but the range we stretched it up to 12. Even you can take it up to 100. It's up to you. In case you suspect in future, you may bring some other data to update your working sheet. That's one. That is already also a validation. What I'm showing you here is the reason why the business is switching you from Excel to Google Sheets. These are the things, the controls you can do in Google Sheets that are rarely in Excel. So on quantities, we can also put a validation. Quantities, these will be numbers. So I'll come and say validation, which is already open here. I put also a role. It will always give me this a default, but I don't want this. I'll come and say, what we are putting here is going to be a number. Actually, you can say, because for a number, they give you this. So you can say this number is going to be a number that is always greater than 0. So you'll come here and put greater than 0, and you say, you put enter a number greater than 0, you reject input, and done. It means that when people are entering data in this sheet at the end of the shift, if someone enters negative 89, it will automatically tell them, by the way, please enter a number that is greater than 0. So it will reject that. That is a validation. You're trying to gather data from your team, but you know that that data will always come clean. The moment you don't validate your sheets, you will get a trash of data you'll always have to clean at the end of the month. You'll call people to ask them that here you entered the number. Were you meaning 30? You meant 300. So to neglect all those calls and followings you'll be doing, data validation is here for you to use. Now let's go on commercial carrier. This is the same thing. I'm going to copy some commercial carriers this side. So I'm going to copy this. I showed you this technique of copying data from somewhere else. So the moment I paste it here, I will remove duplicates. So we go to data, we remove duplicates because we want 1-1. So you'll always come to data cleanup, you go to remove duplicates. It will ask me, are you running remove duplicates up to the end? Do you have headers? Yes. Remove duplicates. It will remove all of them. Obviously, I'll remain with a blank cell, which I will remove independent like this. Delete. You come here, delete a cell, and you say, delete the cell, but move the rest of the data upwards. That's what it means. So I will delete and it will move the other data upwards. Now, these are the commercial carriers I have. You see, they run up to 52. So I will come this side and create a data validation. Let's start with this. Add a rule, come here, drop down from a range, click there, click on these squares. It will ask you to select that, select the range, go there, select this range. So I will select the range like this. If I want, I can add some blank cells for future purposes, and okay. So here they are, but I don't need to validate because I'm already picking from a reference that I'm already aware of, then I do done. So, which means, even by the way, you can lock this working sheet, no one people can't they look at this, but they can't add anything there or subtract anything. So we shall come on data validation. So when we come here, actually we are supposed to, I don't like this. So you will find all of them here. So the moment you click on that, it will pick Abbas Alinda. But I never like this. I will show you where the cards work very well. So I'll come back here and change, move down on advanced options, change this to arrows. I don't like chips. So you have to do done such that it actualizes. So another option, if you don't want to copy and paste data validation only, just come here, double click, or Control Shift downwards, Control D, or you drag up to the end. So you will have your people entering data from here like this. So which means someone will enter, is leaving a shift, will double click here, enter date, come here, pick who is that person on the shift, come here, enter the tonnage they have done, maybe 456. They enter maybe the carrier, commercial carrier. You go to material, you do the same thing. I'm not going to continue doing this. Then this, you do the same thing. Now, if your data is like a project where you need to put a status, like people have to confess, this is done, this is complete, this is work in progress. Now let's see how you can do that. So here, you also always have something in the working sheet, which we shall call status. Then you'll come and put here open, work in progress, WIP. This is, we put draft. Then you can put closed. Then you can put due. So you can put these 5 statuses. Let me copy this and paste there. Just make sure that it is visible. Now, when we come to data validation, I'll do the same data validation here, add a rule, then come and pick from a range. This is drop down from a range. Go and select my range like this. Then this is it. You can even add more columns, more rows, more cells. Then okay, and here they are. Now, here, that's where it looks sweet. Let me first do okay and go the other side. So here, when you can always use the you can always go ahead to use the chip. Why? because I will always want to color them. Now I will say anything that is open, leave it white. Give it a white color. I'll come here, customize, give it a white color. Where is white? No, we are looking at background. Give it white. Then anything in work in progress, give it amber. Anything in draft, give it orange. Anything closed, give it green. Anything due, give it red. Now do this okay. You can go ahead and manage all the advanced options, do okay. Now, if row one, you have a lot of logins you have done, you carry on meetings, you always log meetings, minutes for meetings and actions. This is the best for you. So you can always say that this action is closed. It will be like that. So if I copy this validation and run it up to the end, like this, come on, edit, space special, and validation only. So you see that you'll have all the chips here. So if this is work in progress, put work in progress. If this is draft, put draft. This is done. This is due. So you go ahead and manage your sheet like this, such that it becomes easy for you to know which line is due and ask the person maybe in charge, why is this one not yet done? And yet it is your action you carried on from the last meeting. So that's how we do validation, guys. We have taken 30 minutes doing this. It is more vital for anyone who is dealing with data. What we said last time, extract, transform, load, you reduce on that process by validating data that is always coming through. Why this one is not always given attention in Excel? Because it is hardly found that all of you as a team, you're updating the same Excel. But with Google Sheets, you'll find that more than 100 people are having access to this sheet, and they all have edit rights to input their data. Now that's one. We have done this. Now another thing I want to show you how we protect. So when you want to protect sheets or ranges, it is always easy, but this is what you should know first. You'll have that option of protect under tools. No, it is under data, this one, protect sheets and ranges. Or when you click on a sheet like this and you find protect sheet, you'll have that option when your data is not having here an XLSX. The moment it has that, it means that it is not a Google Sheet, but it is in an Excel format. I don't know whether you guys have seen that before, but I don't know whether I can open one now and we see whether we have it. But I no longer, okay, here there is one here. So let's open this. Now you see this data is having an Excel, still it has an Excel format. We haven't converted it to Google Sheets. And clearly it tells you Microsoft Excel format, this file has some capability issues. It means some of the things you will not get them because it is still in an Excel format. When you come to data, you'll never get that option of protect and protect your sheets and ranges. When we come here, it's there. You see it here? But when we come here, it's not there. That is something to note. When you come to protect your sheets here, right click, there is no protect sheet, which means you can't protect because Google hasn't actualized this as its own file format. But when you come here and click on any sheet, there is always protect sheet. Guys, that's a note. Take it serious that every time you upload a document and you're going to use it for many days recurring in future, change it. If you are not going to just use it for now and dump it, change it. How do we change this? By coming here on file, and there is always an option of save as Google Sheet. So when you save it as a Google Sheet, then you'll have all the capabilities and formulas will move smoothly. And you do this before you share it with the other guys, because when you have already shared with them, the moment I save as Google Sheet, it is going to open another file, which it is going to save as Google Sheet, which is this. So when you check this, now it has protect sheets and ranges. When you come back to this, it doesn't have. So here, how many people were shared? Let me check. It was only me. It means now there are two different files, in other words. Even when I go to my drive now, these two files are different. They are two different. So you can always reshare with your team, but it is always good to do this first step before you share with your team. So that is one. Now let's go ahead and see how we protect the sheet. Now, this is, do you know that you can block every column to be updated by a different team? If column A is updated by the WebBridge operator, column B and C are updated by someone in procurement, column D and E is updated by someone in maintenance. You can do that and no one will ever tamper with data in another column which they are not meant to update. So how do you do that? You select like these two columns and you say, you come here on data, you go on protect sheets. So it has here, it has selected A and B. So you give it a name. What am I protecting? You can say this is WebBridge team. Then now you come and set permissions. Remember, we are just protecting a range. We are not protecting a sheet. So they are two different things. So you set permissions. Now, here are the permissions. All the people are being ticked. You'll say remove all the ticks, but the owner will always remain with access to everything. You can't block the owner from doing anything in any range. Or else you remove the ownership from that person, you give it another person. So the moment you do that, I will say I want only these two people to access. Susan will not edit A and B. The moment I say done, it means that this A and B, these two people will not edit. Actually, since I have this account, let me block this. This one also will not edit. Let's do done and done. Open this sheet as subtech again. You see this person, since he is already shared with, let me come on this. Then remember, he's blocked from editing A and B. So the moment he double clicks, it tells him, by the way, you are trying to edit a protected cell or object, please contact the spreadsheet owner to remove protection if you need to edit. Automatically, that person is kicked away. So if he's the right person to edit, obviously, we'll call the owner. How do you know the owner? Come here, look at the owner. By the way, submit Christopher, you're the owner. Pick a call, call them. By the way, this sheet they're telling me to update. Please add me access or edit rights for column A and B. Then that's how you know the owner of the sheet. Some people are here, they don't know even the sheets that I've created in this globe. So you can always call them and tell them, by the way, you're the owner of the other sheet, give me access. That person will always go back and give you access. If the person has left an organization, the option is duplicating that sheet and creating something else. So you can never override it. Okay. So I don't know whether we have any other question before I drop into some. Then when you want to protect a sheet, I will click on this sheet and right click and say protect. So I will protect this as not like this. Then I will say, let me set permissions. And I don't want all these people to access like this, that sheet. And I will say, okay. The moment you say, okay, it brings a padlock on that sheet. And everyone who will be looking at that sheet will know that this sheet is locked. But who it is locked for who? No one knows. It is only the owner who can actually see this. Let's go the other side. So when we come this side, you see this sheet is blocked and this person has been blocked from updating. When I try to enter something, actually even I can't type anything there. I can't type anything there like this. So I can't update anything. And when you look at the tabs, all of them are faint. When I come to data, most of the things are faint because I can't use them. I can only use like filters. Even when I'm here, they tell me you're creating temporary. When I come to insert, I can't insert anything. I can only insert like a pivot. And it even asks me to take it to a new sheet. I can't put it in this sheet. So you find that your data is protected and you remain with the integrity the data has. I think that is it on protection. You can protect ranges as I have shown you. You can also protect sheets. You can go ahead and protect all your sheets and give different people access. This sheet, and we shall always call that person to update because it is sensitive. Don't leave this thing of hiding columns. Let me come here. Someone will say, okay, I don't want people to look at these validations. You select them, right click, and you say hide. Where is hide? Where is hide? Hide columns, hide. So you have hidden these columns, but all of us, we are seeing that this is A and this is G. And the alphabetics we did says A, B, C, D. And I will just come here and expand this. So hiding is not the option. Always protect them. You can hide, but hiding is not the best option. I can tell you it is not the best option to use if you're using it for that factor. Okay. I know what we have done is a few people have used it, or even those who have used it, at least I think you have picked something new. I will be welcoming questions. Today we are going to look at do another report that doesn't look like that. I'm just showing you the basics, then you can always replicate. Now, we have done validation, which is very important when you're doing data analysis. Now, yesterday we did do cleanup, removing duplicates. You know how to trim white spaces. We did the same in Excel. It is the same thing. Then we want now to look at how do we split columns when we come to Google Sheets. I don't know whether someone can send me that version of disorganized data from Zonda. I don't know whether I have it. I can do this splitting of columns. Let me see if I have something. Is there anyone having that raw data? You can send it to me as we look at something else. But as I'm also checking my end if I have ever received one. Okay. Okay, let's do the simple, but still it carries the principle. Let's copy this. I'm copying the materials, taking them to, let me create another sheet. I call this one split text. I'll paste this here. I'll remove duplicates first of all. We have already seen that, how I'm using it, remove duplicates. So I'll go ahead and remove duplicates and say, yes, I have headers. So the moment I remove, I remain with only 21 materials. Now, if we want to split this, there are many ways how you can split. Now, if I select the whole of this and I want to split, then I can select it. I will also show you the way I will use a formula like how it is in Excel. Then you come to data and you go to split. Now that's where Excel becomes more simple to use on search. So here it has not, you see it will bring this separator down and it will show you, it will detect automatically a delimiter. But since it has not seen any delimiter, that's why nothing has changed. So we shall click here, then we say a delimiter, should it be a comma, should it be a semicolon, a period, a space? If I say space, everywhere there is a space, it will split it in a different row, sorry, column. So you see this was multipurpose 50 bag WPP, same 4BP, 32.5 domestic. So everything where they find a space, they split that data into another sheet. Sorry, a column. Where they find a space, they split. But you have to make sure that you have the columns empty on your right when you're doing that. Let me undo this. Let's again repeat. We try out another thing. So still data, split text. This time, let's go with custom. Custom, what do I want to put as a custom? I want to put 50. Let me put 50 as my custom delimiter. The moment I put 50, everywhere they find 50, they will split from there. And by the way, the 50 will not appear in the next column that will be split. So which means everywhere they found 50, they took the other data in the next column. So all these that never had a 50, which means they are bulkers. This is a bulk, this is a bulk, this is a bulk. And you can also again come, select on that. Yes, you again go on split. Since we still have blank spaces here where we need now to split bulk. So you can go on that data, this, then this time I say custom, then I put BLK. So the moment I put BLK, actually the other data disappears because they found a space here, they just substituted it with blank. So the other data disappeared. So you see bulk is that, which means if you're doing that, the technique is, after you have done that, you can put here filters and sort like this. Then you sort these ones to go on top, then you remain with the bulkers down. Then you do them separate like this. So there are many ways on how you can kill a rat. So here I'll come to custom, then I put BLK, and it will split also this. Though I'm remaining with this, which has a capital BLK, that's why it didn't action on this. So this is another way of splitting, a quick splitting. Then there is another splitting where we use formulas. I'll do undo, 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 undo. I'm undoing. So another way of splitting without using that custom feature, we use equals to text split. We don't have text splitting, which means now there you can use the mid. You remember when we were using mid in Excel? So you'll go ahead, use the mid. Maybe you search, where do you want to start from? You'll search now for a blank, which is a long way than using the other option, which is already in the system. So we did these formulas. I may not maybe repeat on how it can be done, but we did that where you search a space and it will split everything where they find a space. So that's how we split in Google Sheets. But always make sure that when you're going to split, you have the blank columns here that are going to capture that data. The moment you don't remove to keep the blank columns, you're going to substitute your data that is there and it will get lost. Imagine I was having data here. Let me put some random numbers. Random between 12 and 98. I think you know this technique of creating data for yourself. So which means if I come here to split and I say split this, then I say custom, where you find 50, it will split and replace the other data I had put. So you always make sure that you have the columns where this data you're splitting is going to sit, because it is automatic. So if it is data like this, make sure that you always column on the right. Right click and insert another column on the right. So when you want to insert one column, you always select one column. But if you want to insert like 2 columns or 3, select 3 columns like this. Then when you say right click and insert on the right, it will give you 3 on the right. Now, if I want to separate this, I will click here. You can even select actually the whole column. Come on data, I come on split. Now, it has not detected the delimiter. I will bring that the delimiter is semicolon. No. It is a colon. It is a colon, not semicolon. If it is not here, then just go ahead and type it. So that is this. So you see, it is going to split the time in bring the hours, the minutes, and the seconds different. Because I catered for the space where they're going to go. So which means you can go ahead and say, this was the entry hour, because this is no longer time. And this was the entry minute, like this. And this was the entry second. And if it is something that is going to work for you in your data analyzing, then you hit it, because someone may ask, in every minute, how many tracks do we get? You'll say that in every hour, the first 20 minutes of an hour, it's where we receive more tracks. That is an analysis which maybe someone wants to use somewhere to do data-driven decisions. So if you want hours, you can come here, like in every hour, how do we operate? Like you'll see between from maybe this to this, we always have high numbers. So that is it. Actually, before I skip, let me show you how you can purpose to maybe something like this. If you copy this or we put it in a pivot like last time, you can create a histogram. We did a histogram of such a kind. So where you find that you're creating a pivot from this, let me first delete this. So okay, here, when we say insert a pivot, then let's put it on a new sheet. Then on a new sheet here, we come and pick the entry hour. So on row, I'll come and pick the entry hour. And you see the entry hour will pick from 0 to 23. Then which means here, on values, you can come and count. Actually, you can even count the HODIM number. So if I bring the HODIM number like this, it will count. So you see that every hour we have the transactions done in that hour. So you can easily tell that from 1 in the night, actually from 3 in the night up to 8 in the morning, we always have few transactions. Then the many transactions, actually, it is nearly symmetric. It is nearly the same, 113, 171, from that hour up to 23. And you see that the last hour of the day, we always have a lot of transactions. Yes, you know, people are rushing out such that the midnight doesn't catch them in. So this is an analysis you can do yourself. And you can even put this on a chart by inserting a chart. We did that yesterday. And here we go. Since you don't need a bar, it is time related. I will change this into a line graph because it speaks more when it is a line graph. So now for this line graph, now someone can easily tell in the other office that, you know what, between midnight and what time is this? Between midnight and around 8, there is a decrease in the way how tracks are entering and leaving. But when it starts up to 10, it hikes. And again, it reduces during the day. It reduces at around 8 in the evening, and it hikes tending to midnight. So you find that this is an analysis someone has already done, and you have already given a decision for people to take. That, you know what, I think we don't need a lot of marshals between midnight and morning, because there are no fleet of cars that are weighing in. But between 8 and 10, it is a busy hour. People even should not go for a break. They should be substituted when someone is going for a break. So you can determine as an ops supervisor, manager, or anyone, you can just carry a decision from here how you do deployments. That's what we call data-driven decisions. So let me get some questions as I attend to this chapter. Guys, are you there?
Yes,
Yes.
Sabiti, we are.
You know, the silence always makes me like, am I speaking alone? Did I go off and I didn't know? But that's why I always check if you're there. So that is part of the split. And you see that something simple we did to our data led us to a report someone would have asked for the full month. Guys, how can we tell when we have a high fleet? Now people will start running to security books, running to inspection to see how, yet you already have data. So you can always use that data to carry on those decisions. So you can run this for even sorry, skipping my head. You can run this for many parameters. You can run it for materials, items, something like that. So, which means if I came to this, sorry. You know, when you double click in data, it creates another sheet for that data you have double clicked in a pivot. So if you want data for third and you double click this 97, it will bring all the 97 transactions here. You see this? So that's a way how you can always filter that data out of the other main data. But I did it in error, but that's it. This one works for both Excel and Google Sheets. So I'll delete this. It was not the target. Here I was saying, when you come back here on edit, then for you to get this option. If you're looking at a material, let's say we are bringing a material description here on filter, you see? And let's filter out a certain material. And we say that we want to look at how how multi-purpose bagged always is weighed out. The moment I click on multi-purpose bagged, this report automatically changes to only multi-purpose. Let me look at any bulk. Actually, let me look at bulk cements. So yesterday I told you, when you're filtering in Google Sheets, first clear everything, search for what you want. Let's say I want bulkers. When you put bulker, select all, you'll find that it will have selected all the bulkers you brought. Then do okay. Now, you see now this is another thing. It will tell me that from midnight to around, this is around 2, there is at least some numbers of loadings done on bulkers. The number goes down up to when we reach 8 in the morning. And the trend is high from 8 up to 2 in the afternoon. Now there it is zigzag on and off. Maybe they are managing packers. So here you can easily tell, by the way, this is data for a month, and this is how we ran in a month, which is true, which means that you can even tell these drivers of bulkers, by the way, even if you are not around from midnight to up to 8 in the morning, it is okay, because your loading starts 8 and it goes down at 16 because here the shift is changing. It comes back and flips down here because also another shift is changing. So you can easily tell how something is run. So if you want to say in this month, at which times were they loading Fundi? just come clear everything, then put Fundi, then select everything here and okay. Fundi data will load and you'll see how Fundi is being loaded hourly. So you can easily tell that, by the way, the number here at 8 is always low because Fundi there has always been a blockage for this. And it is a reason because when you present this high level, someone is going to ask you, why is it at 8, the numbers are always low? You see, we only have 3 transactions in the whole month. And at 11, we have 17 transactions, which means in the whole month, every 11, in total, we have dispatched out 17 trucks. Why? You as an operations guy, you should be having reasons to this. And those reasons should be speaking to the decisions that are supposed to be taken. So that's how we make data-driven decisions. Look at data, let data speak. That's what they call data storytelling. So, which means when you create a report like this, you'll come and add, you insert a text. Or if it is a dashboard, you create a text and go ahead here explaining what has happened. Or we can maybe extended, which I don't want to be in Excel because I told you spreadsheets are not meant for such reports. But when you go to Looker Studio, you can even name at those points such that you have reasons carried on with the chart itself, such that even if they change, that reason will skip to something else that is higher. That one you'll see those in an advanced level, but it is all fine on how you can always put this in summary. So these are the principles maybe I'm just bringing to you. I don't know whether they make sense. That's why I never wanted to focus on one report. So that one is when you split, when you do splitting, that's how it helps you, like it has done. We have done pivots, but how do you pick data? It is always being creative. Okay. Is there anything that I have left out? Maybe someone has seen things new with pivots and you missed our classes with pivots. Maybe you can ask. But I think at every session we have done a pivot somewhere. Now going back to data, because the data tab is actually something that has many things we deal with in Google Sheets. So there is named functions. For now, this one, I'm not going to use it. And even you see it is still new. Named functions is creating a customized function and you give it a name. Then anyone using this sheet can always pick that name. Like you'll give a function like a name and you say equals to Sabiti and it will do a calculation from the background because Sabiti is a function in this sheet. So we shall look at that later. Let's go on formatting. Formatting, everyone can do this formatting. So this formatting is the one you find here as a shortcut. So the same. So when you come here, you'll get it this side. Then text, you can bold this, everyone knows. Then going to alignment, aligning center, left and the other top, bottom and middle. Wrapping, those who don't know the meaning of wrapping, this is the meaning of wrapping. So when you have a column like this, and you're not reading the words very well, and you don't want to adjust the column size, select the column, come here on format, wrap, and say wrap. There is overflow and there is clip. What we have now is clip because they are behind. Then if you want overflow, actually this, you see the icon, its shortcut is always here. Where are you? It is always here. So it is here. So if I want to wrap, you'll see I will wrap them. The column will remain the same size, but it will increase on the row height. Then if you go to overflow, they will overflow on top in case here you didn't have anything. You see, if I didn't have anything, they overflow. You assume as if they are part of column L. Actually, let me get you the difference between overflow and clip. So when you come to clip, you see they go behind, even if this is empty. So that's the difference between clip and overflow, if you didn't know. So it is up to you. Then you can always change to whichever you want. I will undo this. So that is it on formatting. Sometimes you may have data like this. You have copied data like this. We have brought this data here and we have pasted it transpose. You know, this data is in this format. But if I want to have copied it, let me leave it here. Okay. Paste. Now, if I copy this data and I want to put it in a transpose format, I'll come and select here, then you say paste transpose like this. Transpose. Onto format. Now, in case these columns were minimized to an extent like this, see that you're no longer seeing the full numbers. But I would have not loved to increase this because maybe I have numbers here. Let me put some data equals to sequence. I'm trying to use some formulas such that you pick them as we are doing something else. I want to fill 50 rows. Here I'm having, how many columns are these? 3, 6, 9, 10, 14. Let me say 14. Okay, 15. Then start from number 1 and go step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, step by step 1. That is a sequencing formula which those who don't have 365 in Excel never knew it, but in Google Sheet it is there. So when I close, you see it is going to give me numbers. It is an array formula. 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16 up to until it fills the 50 rows I told it to fill. Now, because when I increase the column width, it is going to be funny. That's why we don't want to increase the column width, because we want to look at the vehicle numbers. Let's undo, because we want our data to stay in it like this. You will even have formatted it. You put, let's say, borders like this. That's your data. Now, we need also to look at these vehicle numbers. What do? We are going to rotate them. You come here on format, and you come on rotate, and you say rotate these upwards, rotate them downwards, stack vertically, whichever you want. You can even come here and give it your own angle if you are good at mathematics. So I will say rotate upwards. You see, my numbers are going to rotate like that, which means at the moment, people can read the numbers and even my columns are still in that sizable manner I wanted it to be, because if I'm presenting this data, it's very fine. And let's do something else. If I say put a condition of formatting that is going to highlight every number that has a 5 in it, that is a question, which means if I want to highlight this, I will select highlight up to the bottom. Then we go to condition, data, condition formatting. Where's condition formatting? Where did we get it? It is on format actually. Conditional formatting, you see it selects everything, but we don't want it to select everything. We want to tell it that select text that contains a 5 and give it a color amber. Give the text a color blue. Then cross it out. I don't want it. Or bold it. It will bold it. So you see, there you go. At the end of the day, you have done your conditional formatting. Anything that has a 5 is crossed out. So you can use this knowledge, or you can use the same technique in some other data. You can have your data like this, but you want to show where the trend is. And you can always do that. You can always come back and update this condition formatting, whichever way you want to update it. But that is it. So if we say we want anything that has a 2, and it will be like that. If we say we want to highlight anything that is less than 2, let's say less than 24. There we go. And that is it. So even if you have formulas, you can put them there. Formula for duplicates, formula, any formula, like it should pick out something. You can put it there. If you want to say is not between all these, just choose any text that contains a 14 and okay. So you see a text that contains 14, 14. Here it is 214, here 314, 414, 514, 614, 714. So you've already, it is easy now for people to look out for that data. Very easy. So that is the way. And I want to show you something else. If you always want to hide that,
how have you made
Yeah.
the track numbers to be in that alignment in the Google Sheet? Where do you find it again?
I go back.
No,
Copy.
just only on track number plates only.
Yes. That's what I'm going to do. Copy this. But first of all, let's first put some, you see, my columns are stopping here. I want to insert columns on the right. You can always select this. Like, let me select the whole of this, right click and say insert 15 columns on the right. It will insert them there. So let me copy only a few, copy, bring them here like this. Now, this is when you copy, just paste, but we want to copy and transpose. So if I want to copy and transpose, I'll come here, edit, paste special, transposed. There we go. So even if I delete the original one, even this word track, I can delete it. So as I said that I want my columns to stay in that width, but still I need my audience to look at these track numbers. So you select the track numbers, go on rotate. If you don't get it this side in format, the shortcut is always here with an A. So come here, choose for the rotate you want. This is downwards, upwards, at an angle. If you want to put at an angle, then you do that. And when you put this, let's put this reset. Actually, we put white. Then we can border it. So you see that when you even border them, this is the way they look like. This column AK goes up here. This column AK, because it is already put in a slant mode. This column is this UAB 660T. It goes like this in that angle. So I said if you're good at math, you can manage the angles from here. So this angle is 45. So you can go and say, no, this I want to give it angle 60. So it is up to you. You can manage the angle from this side. I want to give it angle 15. Depends on whether it will be visible or not. So it is all in your hands. So I think that is it. I don't know whether I've answered your question.
Yeah, I've got it right. Thank you so much.
Welcome. In case there is any question, please ask. And even we have a chat box waiting for you. You can type anything. So yesterday I talked about visibility. To show grid lines, formulas, protected sheets. Actually, here, if you want to show protected sheets, this time we protected sheets here, right? So when you come on view and you say show protected sheets, I think we're already showing them by default. That one may not work for us. It is already shown by default. And since I'm the owner, that's why they are visible. Maybe they will be visible for the other person who I protected out. that is. Then freezing, I talked about it yesterday. If you want to freeze like 5 rows, you can always move this one like this manually, and when you scroll, they remain constant. Or you can always go to view, freeze. This one gives you numbers up to 15, up to 2, up to 1, like that. In case you don't want that, you can always drag. You can even put it back. So it's all up to you how you want it. Zooming. In case you're zooming, but this one has 2-way, and it is always here as a shortcut. If people say like, we are not seeing what you're presenting, you can zoom up to 200. Sorry, I have an AI here that is disturbing me. You can zoom up to 200 like this. And when you find it like this, don't struggle to take it back. It is always back here, zoom, and take it back to 100. I think that is okay. Then to those people who always need to group, if I want to group these, where I had put my data, so you can, let me go to the other data. We flip this again. So if I want to group this, these columns I created for hour, minute, and second, I'll come here on view. I say group, column D and up to F. So here grouping is a clear way that it can always give you a chance to click here. And it is not like hiding, I can say, but you group them such that when you have so much data, some of the things you can always manage from there. So even I can group these, go to view and group like this. So you see even those ones, you can group them such that you find that you have not deleted data, but you have hidden some of the things by grouping, and you've remained with the important, maybe parameters you want your team to look at. Or if you are presenting and you don't want people to look at the other files, columns you still have. So you see, we can group a lot. Even you can group rows. So you can even group rows like this, rows 6 to 7. And when I click here, you see from 5 to 18. I have not hidden them. There is a difference between hiding and grouping. That's, you take it, you note that there is a difference between hiding and grouping. So this is hiding now. Let me do for you hiding. This is hiding. Actually, you can also come to view and hide. Show sheet 1, sheet that, no, those are hidden sheets. It is right click here, then hide rows. So this is hiding and this is grouping. The moment you unhide, you can no longer know what was hidden. Imagine you have unhidden and you have typed some things. I can't undo to hide again because I will undo even what I've typed. But someone who did the grouping, he can expand, do what he's doing, go back and group them. That's the difference. Hiding and grouping, they are different. Hiding is more temporary than grouping may be. Okay, now I think with view, we are okay there. If you always want to show full screen, you can show full screen, it hides all the tabs. But remember how to come back by pressing escape on your keyboard. So I'll press escape and I will always come back to my view. Then I want to show you something else with images that is not so much important. This one, inserting cells, we have seen inserting rows, we have seen, inserting columns. You can insert a sheet. You can even use a plus here. You can insert a chart. You can insert a pivot. Images, not so much important. Drawings, I may say they are not so much important because drawing in Google Sheets, they are tricky because every time you put a drawing, you have to go back and adjust it, which is, I find it not healthy. So with functions, all formulas we did in Excel, they stand to be the same. They stand actually the same. Then with link, for those people dealing with data or reporting, like we said here, when you do a data validation, and someone has put a comment here, we shall work on this. Now, if we want to insert a link here, maybe I want to insert a link of the URL of this calendar. So you'll always come there, you say insert a link, then actually now they updated that even if you have some file in your drive, you can type that file, let's say data analysis. So we link this one maybe to this file, and it is already linked directly, which means everyone who is reading this data can always come here and click on this, and the file will open. So you can link by putting a URL, or you can link your files directly. Then when you're tracking something like this for logs, you can even, if these are comments, you can even tag people. The moment you start with @ you see it asks you, you can tag people, you can tag files, you can tag dates. So if I put @ I can put today, it will pick the date for today. If I want @ I can put Sabiti, click on this, and Sabiti will be tagged. And doing this, it means that Sabiti will receive a notification, sometimes if he's in the group. So instead of writing full names of people, just pick the names directly from their tags, such that when someone clicks here, even they can add that email to their phone book. You can schedule a calendar invite. You can schedule a meeting immediately with Sabiti and tell him, by the way, join a meeting here. So I'll go ahead and cancel this. Then you can do a lot because I have tagged a person. Rather than, I'm better than someone who wrote Christopher Sabiti as the name of the person with the action on this line. There's nothing I can do here, but here there is a lot I can do because there are all those options. I can even chat directly a message Sabiti, then it will open in Hangout. Then I chat a message Sabiti, you know what, did this and this and this is this. I can say, you still have an action. Then I send directly without even leaving this sheet. Like I'm going back to Gmail, I'm going to Hangouts, where I even may get lost. Maybe a chat may come in and they get distracted. So that's a way of improving your productivity. Then you can even tag a file. So I can tag a file, let's say data, which file, let me see, PowerPoint. Do I have any file PowerPoint? Okay, let me tag this file, Power BI tutorial links. So I've tagged, you see, it clearly shows you that this is a Google Sheet tagged here. So let me tag a slide and see if I can get slides. You can even tag a map or a direction or anything. Let me say at Kampala. Kampala, no, that's it. So here it is. So you can tag like Kampala Serena and it's tagged there. So you already have a pin in the sheet. So you see when someone hoovers, the pin comes. So if I have my areas or my customers, we can tag their pins here. Like if this person wants where that customer is, it's just a matter of clicking that and it will open directly a Google map. There are many things you can hardly get in Excel, like this, tagging. You can tag anything here. You can tag, we have seen pins, you can tag documents, you can tag people cards, you can link sheets directly there. So you'll find that you have a file like this, so much important to you that it has everything. You go there, you're done, you're sorted. Everything is there, people's phone numbers, everything. And they are not seen as how we can say they are seen, because when you click on this document, link of that document and that person is on leave. But if it is tagged here, everyone can always access it wherever they need it. Yeah, that is it. At least I've gone through most of the things here. These are the smart chips I've been talking about. This is the way how you can find them, but the other one is a shortcut. Typing art in your Google Sheet, it will always bring you picking these options. So you can pick people, you can pick a file, you can pick calendar, you can pick a place, you can pick finance, that's currency. Drop downs, we did a drop down when we were doing data validation. The same thing we did in data validation is what is done here. Now, how do we insert checks? I can do that. How do we insert checks? So inserting a check, if you're creating like something to do like a to-do list. So here you come and insert a check like this, it will insert a check like this. So you can drag the check downwards such that if we say this is extraction, then clean data, create graphs, charts, then format. I'm just putting something. So, which means you can come here and tick this, show that extraction was done, clean, show that clean was done, chart, show that chart was done. In case you have a tracker that needs something like this. So you can expand this such that it gets enough breathing space for you to see exactly what you're doing. So if you put this in borders, you see it clearly. So if you have something like where you have to check, you can check like that. Now, someone once was, I think I have a video on that. If you want to track attendance, let's say Monday, better when you type Monday and you drag to the right, it will put Tuesday, Wednesday, up to, that is the IntelliSense it has. So if I copy this, which means I can remove this. So I can copy this and paste it to the other days like this. And let's say these are names of people. Susan, this is Albert, this is no, we have Jovia here. Then this is Patricia. This is Joseph. Let's say we had Susan was there. On this day she was not there. This she was there. This she was there. Now, when you come here to count, equals count. If the range this is true, so you can put like this. Let's first do count and see what it is counting. This is, let's put equals to count. Let's first count and see. We count this range. Suppose we count if, we want to count if the criteria, this is true. So 3, eh? So if I'm counting attendance here 3, which means if I drag this, all these are having, it puts a 1. When I put this, it puts a 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. So, which means if you have an attendance like this, you don't have to struggle on how you will track. Just create checkboxes and create a formula for the total. Like what we have, for us, we are using P for present, absent, excused, or absence. You can do whatever you want, but that's the purpose of checkboxes. Then You may create checkboxes where you want it to cancel this or to format this, such that when I tick, this should be green. That when you do it in conditional formatting, which we may not do now. So you do it in conditional formatting where you say, if this is true, then put this red color, white color, whichever, try it out. I give it to you as a homework. So that's how we use checkboxes if you didn't know. If you have a tracker, a calendar, you're tracking your team on attendance, you can do something like this, such that every time they come, you tick, you don't tick. When you don't tick, then it is 0. When you tick, then that person was present. And a sheet like this, you go ahead and lock it. I've shown you how to protect. Protect it, no one will ever tick himself. It is you only who has maybe access to check this. Like now, Susan has access on our attendance list. Like she's the only one having access. You can all go there and see that I've attended 2 times out of 6. Others have attended 6 times. Then you can easily tell, and we need to tag people in our comments. Like if I want